So I'm not going to teach you how to catch fish, but I will teach you how to cook steak. We're going to cook ribeye steak here tonight. So, you know, it's really important before you start cooking that you have all of your mise en place ready. So everything that you're going to need from start to finish before you start cooking. So we're going to use a cast iron skillet. I think it gives the best sear to the steaks. As I said, a ribeye steak, I think it has the best flavor. The Spinalis dorsi here, the ribeye cap is really, really flavorful. It's very, very important to take your steak out about 45 minutes, an hour beforehand, let that come up to room temperature, salt and pepper both sides. We're gonna sear the steak in some duck fat. It has really, really good flavor, a high cooking point, and much better than any of that other nonsense out there like oil. We're gonna finish the steak in butter. So I prefer a European butter. It has higher butter fat content and a better flavor. And then we're gonna use rosemary, thyme, and some garlic. So let's get started. All right, so we're gonna wanna bring the pan up to temperature and make sure it's really smoking hot. Add in our duck fat. It's gonna sizzle a little bit because I use this to make some duck confit, but that's all right. Make sure we coat the pan on the bottom. Don't skimp on this at all. Once it's nice and hot, we're gonna put the steak in, kind of pat it down, and just leave it go. Don't touch it. At this point, the steak has been cooking for about 2 minutes, and we're gonna flip it over. And now you let that steak go again for a couple minutes. So now the steak has been cooking for about 2 additional minutes on the other side. We're gonna take the steak out, put it over here. Watch out. It's really, really hot duck fat. And you just pour it out. I pour mine in the sink. It'll be fine. So now at this point you have a really hot pan, really beautifully seared steak, but it's still uncooked. So what we're gonna do is add the steak back into the pan with our butter, our herbs, and our garlic cloves that we're just gonna crush. And you have your trusty spoon here. And your butter, and you start basting. So at this point, we've cooked the steak about 2.5 minutes on either side, additionally butter basting it. We're just gonna take it off of the heat, and we're gonna let that rest for 10 minutes. Let the juices kind of re-establish themselves throughout the steak, and we'll go from there. So it's been 10 minutes now. Steak is nicely rested. The pan's getting hot again. We're just gonna flash it in the pan just to get everything nice and hot again. So it goes right in, you hear that nice sizzle. So we're not cooking it. It's just to get everything nice and hot. 1, 2, and that's it. Now it's gonna come over to the pan, or the cutting board. We're ready to cut. All right, so now we're ready to slice our steak. Here we go. Should be a nice, perfect medium rare. You wanna go right against the grain of the steak. Just slice in about 1/2 inch slices. And you want to use a nice knife, none of those crazy things that people sell you door to door. Here we go, and look at that, nice. So it's a nice, perfect medium rare steak. You can see all the way through, no gray or anything like that. This looks delicious. I think Christine and I are going to enjoy ourselves. So to everybody I say bon appetit, thank you for listening.